Hi all investors, Glen here, Novak Properties DY. A common problem I'm posed is I just can't get a rental return to make investing worthwhile in property, or I don't want to pay millions to buy an investment property. I've invited in to talk to you today Bakia, a buyer agent that buys property off me on the Northern Beaches, but also has affiliations right throughout Australia and is finding some of my clients cash positive, high rental yield properties. Bakia,
Right.
What's your company? What do you do?
So Bobby and the company is the Investors Agency.
Yep.
So we're a buyer's agency based in the Northern Beaches. But
You live on the beaches?
Yeah,
don't
I've
you?
spent my whole life on the beaches. I'm in Narrabeen, but I'm 32. I've been here since I was 30. So
Okay, good.
almost born and bred.
Yep.
And the reality is the Northern Beaches is getting to a point where not everyone can afford to buy, and not everyone wants to buy on the Northern Beaches.
Sure.
We're seeing a lot of people now who have a deposit and are ready to purchase, but they want cash flow positive.
So what does cash flow positive mean?
So it just means that the incoming covers the outgoing. So the rent that comes in covers your mortgage, your expenses, your property management fees.
So, like you're looking at mainly homes.
Yeah.
With homes, that would be your council rates, your water rates. What else?
Property management fees.
Property management fees.
Yep.
Okay.
Your mortgage.
Your mortgage.
Yep.
So you can find something where if someone puts in, what sort of deposit?
So the lower end of the scale is a $300,000 purchase.
Yep.
And the minimum sort of deposit there would be about $40,000.
Okay.
Plus your stamp duty, which is $10,000.
Okay.
So we'd sort of recommend $50,000 to $60,000 to get in.
Yep.
But that property is adding $100 a week into your account.
Okay.
Seeing growth over time as well.
So once you pay everything, you're getting $100.
Yeah. So the
week.
rent covers all your expenses, and yeah, it's
You're left with a surplus.
Yeah, so the surplus, admittedly, from day one is not much, but every time you refinance and you've paid some principal down, that surplus increases.
What I really like about it is, I'm over 21. Nikki behind the camera there, we're about the same age, and when you get to our age, that thought of like negative gearing and having to earn a big income and then get money back from the tax man, it's called negative gearing because instead of having a surplus, you're minus.
Yeah.
You've got to put money out of your pocket and get some back, and what COVID showed us is lots of people with their positions are restructured. COVID also gave large corporates an opportunity to give a lot of their workers a haircut wage-wise, and look at fine-tuning thing under the guise of COVID. So something positive, you don't have to worry. You change jobs and your income, if you're 50 plus, might go from 200,000 down to 75,000 with a career change. It's a positively geared property. There's a surplus at the end. I really like it.
Yeah, 100%. It was funny you mentioned that. I had a client right at the peak of COVID. We helped them buy a property. They had an $800,000 pre-approval and they wanted to buy an $800,000 house. Based on their income and personal situation, I said that's not the best decision for you. Let's go 2 properties that are $400,000 that are cash flow positive.
Brilliant.
We bought 1 property for them, and the wife lost her job literally like a month later because it was cash flow positive. There was no stress. So they called me and they said we're so lucky that we did the cash flow positive because they didn't have to sell at a loss.
Okay. So before I talk to you about, like some of the deals you've done, everyone says, you get out of the beaches, you get out of Sydney, can't find a tenant, you'll buy somewhere, in Broken Hill, and there'll be a mining shaft and no one will want to rent it, you'll have to go down there mine opals. Is that your experience?
No, so we're still buying in areas which have several industries driving that economy. So we're still buying in areas that are close to CBDs.
Okay.
They might have tourism, they might have health, education, agriculture. So it's still areas where if, for example, tourism goes down for a few months, like we saw during COVID, there's still health and universities and agriculture driving that economy.
See, I like the deals that you do because as I said, I've been fortunate enough to do a couple of deals with Bobby and in the Northern Beaches, and I follow you on social media. Social media is a great way to find out information about real estate. Domain.com, realestate.com also have sections where you can read about real estate as well. But I follow him, and you'll get the deals I like. They're about 25-minute drive, 15-minute drive, 30-minute drive out of Brisbane, and there's a surplus at the end of everything. You know, like once you get your rent, pay all your bills, you're left with a little bit of money for a rainy day. What was that deal? There was one you did just recently. Explain that one to us.
So that one's settling on the 3rd, so that's settling tomorrow.
Okay.
That one was a $345,000 purchase with tenants already in place at $410 per week.
Wow. Okay.
And there's site access with council approval for a granny flat.
Right.
So
okay.
you can bump up that rent to $700 per week if you wanted to. That was less than 5 minutes to the local hospital, less than 10 minutes to the university, less than 5 minutes to the express train to Brisbane CBD.
How long does the train take?
Half an hour.
Yeah.
Half an hour for the express train.
Okay.
So 40 minutes to Gold Coast.
That would be probably in Sydney. Would that be like Parramatta?
Probably closer in than Parramatta.
Okay.
Probably closer than Parramatta is, but similar, more or less quite similar.
Yeah. Mate,
look at what's happening there.
But what's really interesting about that is a 410 rent, to get $410 a week rent in DY, I'd be selling you a $520,000 one bedroom apartment, and this property just outside of Brisbane, express train into the city. It's got a freestanding home that you can build a granny flat and upsize your rent. What's the demand up there? Were there many tenants up there?
Yeah, so this one already had a tenant in place, but we did another deal which we settled on about 2 weeks ago. We had 41 inspectors with, I think it was 4 applications in 1 week. Oof. So the demand's there because you're still focusing on those drivers, those economic drivers.
Yeah, okay. So we've had a growth on the Northern Beaches in freestanding homes, huge growth over the last 3 months. Could people use the equity in their own home to buy something like that?
100%. So one of our recent clients, they were a young family. They had a 2-bedroom apartment in Monavale.
Right.
They had quite a bit of equity, but not enough to buy their dream home. So they saw they were falling further and further behind. And instead of, I guess, that gap was getting bigger and bigger, so they decided, well, we've got that equity, let's use it in Brizzy and keep up with the market or even gain on the market, and then they can come back to the Northern Beaches later.
Yeah. What's really good about what you do too is we've all got stories where people have been stung. They pick you up in a limo, take you to the airport, you fly up there, you buy something overpriced. You're just in the market buying at market prices.
Yeah.
You don't work with one person or anything like that?
No, so we get paid purely from the buyer,
okay.
Not from developers, not from builders.
Okay, that's good.
Completely independent. So when a client comes to me and they have a $400,000 pre-approval, we'll go find them the best property based on what they're trying to achieve.
Okay, and you just go to your local agents, you go up there. Do the people need to fly up there?
No. I've had one client who was a first home buyer fly up. Everyone else, they're happy to just
do it.
They're just like, yeah, what's the yields? What's the growth?
Yeah.
Let's get it done.
Okay.
So.
Well, how do people reach you? How do they get in touch with you?
I'm sure.
Because I like this. We'll put a link down below, Nikki. But I really like this because it's something that we'll probably do as a family. Like I'm 53. My wife's not anywhere near that yet. But it's something where we can set and forget it, and. These areas, have they grown much in 10 years?
Yeah, so there's different areas. So the ones that have lots of yield, they doubled in value from 2000 to 2010. Okay. And then the last 10 years, they've almost been stagnant. And that's why we're buying there now, because they had 100% growth, then they've stagnated, and the data is now showing that it's going to start moving again. But then there's other areas which have grown by 20% in the past 6 months. Okay. So, if we've got clients that are trying to chase capital growth, then we select different markets for them as well. Okay.
Well, look, we'll put a link down below. I recommend that if you're looking outside of Sydney, don't do it on your own. Talk to a buyer's agent. I'd love you to talk to Bobby, but talk to a buyer's agent and, see what they can offer you. All right.
Thanks for having me on.
Bye-bye. Yep, thanks for coming, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.